brother. Instant classic already, man. Like, we already calling it. Dave, is it possible, man, to be both pro-American and also pro-Black as a foundational Black America?
This must be, Puff might need this money, so I'm gonna go ahead. Shout out to Mark Hurd who wrote this song. Bang, 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 bang. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. I am very pro-Black. I am very pro-America. I love America. I love America's promise. I love we the people of the United States in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, so on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I love this country. We are the best of the best of the best, period. There's no other place I'd rather be than here. And I know this person went over here and this person went to Nigeria and this person's over in Tulum. Tashi, good for you. If you like it, I love it. I want some more of it, but I'm staying here. This is my homeland. I love my country. I will always love my country. You can't make me not love my country. You love your woman. Is there things your woman does to get on your nerves, Caleb? You sticking by her though, right? Okay then. He said okay. That's it. That doesn't mean that she ain't got her problems. That's America. America got her problems. But we sure enough going to do everything to do that we got to fix them. I think you should be, to be pro-Black is to be pro-America. Who was the first person to die in the Revolutionary War?
History class, Crispus Attucks.
Thank you. So we have to be careful how we move in this country. We have to make sure we take advantage of the advantages and disempower the negatives. And you can do that very simply. You want to fix education in the Black community, start showing up at school board meetings. Yeah. Start putting your foot on the neck of the superintendent of schools. Start finding out who's in charge of the teachers union and start holding them to account. We done talking. Like, the time for talk has been over. No. America is great because of Blackness. The first export this country ever had was Black American labor, foundational Black American labor. The biggest export from that time to this has always been Black talent. I don't care if you dress it up, give it to Teddy Riley and he gives it to the Koreans and call it K-pop. I don't care if you put some stupid mop wigs on 4 kids from Liverpool whose faces only a mother could love and call it the British invasion. It's all Black. Everything we have done, from blood banks to ice cream to the traffic light. And I know a lot of these suspected white supremacists like to relegate us to peanut butter, but we've contributed a whole lot more to this country. Our blood is in this soil.
Good people, what's up? What's good, y'all? I am blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith. Today's guest, man, the OG author of The Real Black Agenda, man. One of our favorites, man. Dave has always played a pivotal role in this platform, our growth, everything. Dave Anderson, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I have not felt this good since the Clinton administration.
Looking great, too.
Trying, man. I'm trying.
209, y'all. He's under 210 pounds. That's crazy, man.
It is insane. I'll be looking at the scale like, are you working okay?
Come on now.
You all right now?
Yes,
then
sir.
I get on another scale and says the same thing. So then I get my calendar on and say another
so it's real.
But
come on now, Dave.
Good.
Dave, man, The Real Black Agenda.
Yes, sir.
Your book during this time period, man, is so timely. To your point, it's selling so well.
Yeah.
Bro, one excerpt, page 15, Real Black Agenda, y'all. Check it out, Amazon, everywhere. When Black folks bring up immigration concerns, we're told to be quiet for the greater good. But the greater good ain't never been that good to us. We're the only group expected to sacrifice for everybody else's movement. We've marched for women's rights. We've stood for LGBTQ plus liberation. We've spoken out for Palestine. We've donated to causes in Haiti, Sudan, and Ukraine. Mm-hmm. But when we say, hey, can we get some investment too? They act like we're being selfish, or worse, that D word, Dave, divisive. Mm-hmm. Let me make this plain. If your liberation depends on Black silence, it's not liberation, it's replacement. Yes. Dave, break that quote down. Because, man, in Minneapolis and Minnesota, you saw what just went down. with ICE? Break that down.
Here's what I saw, and let me address the quote in the book, and then let me get to Minneapolis.
Please.
So I said it because historically speaking, I'm the type of person. If you know me longer than 5 minutes, you realize I do not rewrite history. I recite history, and everywhere you look, when it comes to any type of liberation in these yet to be United States, Black people are usually on the forefront. When you go as far back as the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, any particular war fought on this land was fought by foundational Black Americans going first. And they act like it's an honor for us to go first. And then we start talking about civil rights after the Black Liberation Movement, the original real BLM got co-opted. Then what winds up happening is they say, okay, you guys go out here, you get your heads bashed in, you let the dogs get sick on you, we're going to pour hoses on you so that you can sit at lunch counters and enjoy unseasoned food while singing We Shall Overcome. And the thing of it is, yes, okay, we got desegregation, which, by the way, led to a plummet of Black owned and operated businesses, everything from hospitals, hotels, butcher shops, supermarkets, tailors, lawyers, we had absolutely everything. And the reason I know that is my mother's mother was born in 1924. My father's mother was born in 1904. And they told me expressly, separately, how impactful it was to have your children be birthed to Black doctors and Black nurses. There was no such thing as a high women mortality rate when it came to birth. Every time we go out here and put ourselves in front of a movement. So now it's the Somalis. Before the Somalis, it was Ukraine. Before Ukraine, it was Israel and Palestine. Before that, what was the one before that? I don't know. After a while, I lose count of how many places the liberal media tells us to stick our necks out for that do not involve foundational Black Americans. And so what winds up happening is they put it like, it's just like the civil rights movement. Gay people is just like the civil rights movement. Feminism is just like the civil rights movement. Ukraine's just like the civil rights movement. And these illegal money laundering Somalis in Minnesota are just like the civil rights movement with their look at me, I'm the captain now vibes. Nah, I'm good on that. So when it comes to what happened in Minnesota, let me be clear. No one should ever be in a position where they have to lose their life. By that same token, you taking a 2-ton vehicle and even acting as if in times where you knew it was volatile to gesture in any way, shape, or form towards an immigration officer is not exactly a smart move. Meaning the more you FA, the more you FO. What I do find interesting is that last week we were really focused on the fact that Tim Walz said he's not going to seek re-election because there were so many scandals. We forgot all about the Somali non-emergency healthcare transport with vehicles that have not moved in 5 to 10 years. We forgot about all the daycare centers that have no children in them that are getting countless millions of dollars. And a lot of that money is being washed and kicked back to the white liberals, with the Somalis taking their cut. I mean, I'm sorry, but now all we're talking about is this poor woman. Now, as a person that has a PR firm, I will tell you, you don't orchestrate tragedy, but you should take advantage of it. And that's what they're doing. The governor of Minnesota was also the vice presidential candidate on Kamala Harris's ticket. This is the same guy that wanted tampons in boys' bathrooms. Now, I don't know how that process works because I've been a man for almost 50 years now. And yeah, I'm not giving up peeing, standing up for anything, but I'm trying to understand what a little boy needs a tampon for. Even if that little boy feels like he's a girl on the inside, that doesn't mean that he's just going to start magically bleeding. I don't get it. But for him to write into law that there should be tampons in the bathroom. George Floyd happened on this man's watch. All those riots, all that property damage happened on this man's watch. But now he wants to invoke the National Guard. And now the mayor's talking about, it's bullshit. But he's out here dancing with Somalis every chance he gets. And then Tim Walz had a press conference a couple of weeks ago, and he removed the Minnesota state flag and put up the Somali flag. I'm sorry, I thought this was America. But this is a person who was, of course, perfect for Kamala Harris, who famously said, well, I'm not going to sit up here and say I want to do anything for black people. Oh. So, yeah, none of this surprises me. It's smoke and mirrors, and that's all we're talking about now. Orange man bad. ICE is bad. We're going to stand up to ICE. The sheriff in Philadelphia is talking about y'all don't want this smoke. I'm like, who are you? I've never seen you, sis. I've been in Philly my whole life. I've never seen you. But that's what's happening now. These folks are pushing fear and propaganda and hoping that black people won't actually understand how history has betrayed us by continuing to do the same thing the same way and expecting a different result. So that's where I am on that.
Fresh off the flight, bro. Fresh from Philly. Dave, he's already coming in here, already going crazy, man. Dave, I find this, man, so ironic, right? Just now, 6 years ago, it's hard to say, in 2020, George Floyd happened in Minneapolis.
Yes.
Now, 6 years later, I don't see foundational Black Americans really going as hard for other groups opposed to 6 years ago of seeing how, Black Lives Matter, that being co-opted movements. Dave, why do you think it's such a shift right now to where our people are kind of really just taking a step back opposed to trying to fight everybody else's battles?
There comes a point where you realize that you're being hustled. And we tend to forget, again, this is me reciting history, it's not me writing it. Black Lives Matter put up as their mission statement something to the effect of, and you can actually put it on the screen later, but they put something to the effect of they wanted to dismantle the patriarchy, dismantle the nuclear family, and platform trans and LGBTQ leaderships and support single moms. Single moms are the reason, not entirely, but a big part of why we have the level of dysfunction we have in our communities. Then people don't realize that even if it wasn't on paper, BLM switched what that meant. It went from Black Liberation Movement, then they took that and turned it into Black Lives Matter. Now it stands for Buy Large Mansions. When you look at where the money goes, whether you like Candace Owens Farmer or not, when you look at where the money went, according to their public tax filings, they're still being indicted on scams and scandals and houses and vacations and kickbacks and trips and hiring people for security that can't do a push-up. Why in the world am I going to invest in that? And can I ask you something? When has that ever gotten us a check that we actually saw? Did you see Tamir Rice's mom say she got her Black Lives Matter check?
Never.
Did you see George Floyd's family say that they got a Black Lives Matter check? Did Trayvon Martin's mom and dad, did they get a Black Lives Matter check? Did Mike Brown's family get a Black Lives Matter check? Did Eric Garner get one? Like, at what point do we start realizing that this is all performative weapons of mass distraction as opposed to anything that is going to be tangible for us? And I know there's a lot of people who hate the term tangible, but we got to stop just marching for hope and symbolism and really start doing. Have you ever in your life seen Chinese Americans march for their rights? When is the last time you saw Jewish Americans in your lifetime march for their rights? So if the Chinese Americans don't do it, the Jewish Americans don't do it. The only time you see Italians marching is in a parade. What do we think we're going to get out of it when all of the other so-called minorities in this country avail themselves of the political process and they write the check? Why would I waste time being the crash test dummy for yet another cause that you guys have made up when gas is higher in the hood? There's not a kid in Georgia public schools right now that can read at grade level. Georgia Power is giving y'all all kinds of sliding scale electric bills with weird junk fees that nobody seems to solve, but we got time to talk about, I bought the dress. Yeah, no, we opting out. We falling back. Foundational Black Americans say y'all can have this.
Hey, brother, what does real tangible change look like, Dave? Because as you know, detractors, they hate the word tangible. So what does actual tangible change look like in 2026 for foundational Black Americans?
In 2024, I went and spoke at the rally for reparations, and I said some very hard things that I to this day stand by. One of those is you can't talk all this rah-rah and revolution if you can't do a push-up. You can't talk about repair if you're not willing to repair your own community first. The other thing that I said is black people got to stop believing this BS about we need gun control. We've had gun control since the Reagan administration. Look up the Brady Bill and then get back to me. We need to arm ourselves. Let's look at this mathematically, right? My favorite reality television show is called The First 48. In order for The First 48 to happen, in order for an episode to happen, what has to happen first?
A body got to drop.
Somebody's got to die.
Yeah.
Right? So the bad guy who unalived the victim in this episode of The First 48 has pums. The reactionaries, the Avengers, not the pre-Vengers, the Avengers, the detectives who are now trying to solve this murder in the first 48 hours, have weapons. But it's the law-abiding citizens that don't. Now, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure you probably met at least 2 or 3 street pharmacists in your lifetime. Have you known a street pharmacist to follow the law? Have you known a gang member to follow the law? Have the YNs decided, did they have a YN collective convention and say, you know what, we're going to stop wearing the Pooh Shiesty mask and we're going to stop pum-pumming people? Has that happened?
No, it has not.
So if the guys with the badges, the good guys, have weapons, and the YNs, thugs, gangsters, professional unalivers, and street pharmacists have weapons, and the Second Amendment says I have a right to keep and bear arms, why wouldn't I take advantage of that? The other thing that comes down to that is we got to stop having babies all willy-nilly with people you just want to feel their insides with. We got to, like, I don't want to ever hear, and respectfully, and if it does not apply, let it fly. But I'm really tired of hearing sisters talk about how educated they are, how strong and independent they are, how they're not going to submit to no man, can't no man tell them what to do. But what I do know, it's even in Disney movies, bro. Cinderella dropped a shoe and found a Prince Charming. These chicks out here dropping butt ass naked and only doing it for Pookie. And then you wonder why our community is frazzled. You're not planning your families. There's approximately 39 forms of contraceptives that women can avail themselves of before you get to abortion. Yet and still, abortion is where we have that conversation. And families are important. Financial literacy is important. Also, if you do have children, you need to start treating your children like assets and heirs as opposed to liabilities and bills. We don't have smart, strong, structured financial conversations with our children at the dinner table. We don't teach them how to, I know this is going to sound old school, but it's still a practice that I think needs to happen. Balance a checkbook, even if you're doing it on a spreadsheet on their iPad. Show them where their money is going. Start giving them some responsibilities and assigning chores, and those chores have a value to them, and then you have them get paid at the end of the week, and then you collect rent from them, and you just put it in a high yield savings account or a Roth IRA and let that thing accrue over time. We don't have those conversations, but we ready to get little Ray Ray and Shamika a brand new pair of Jordans, a PS5, or, you know, the entire American Girl doll collection, or the Labubu's. I don't know what these kids are doing these days, but yeah, that. Oh, and vote yes. But we have to start having an agenda we can get behind, whatever that is, whether it's mine, Tariq's, Dr. Claude Anderson's, Ice Cube's, I don't care whose. Have an agenda that serves your interests. Black people vote their emotions and get railroaded because they believe that this is the same thing as what our ancestors fought for. Our ancestors fought for us to not only vote, but to think about what we're getting for that vote. We're in a representative government, and we leave that part off because we are listening to people who tell us vote blue no matter who. And this is so critical while they're living in gated communities with armed security, telling black people what we need to do. And they ain't been in the hood in 20 years.
Dave, recently, brother, you had a hilarious, phenomenal Instagram live going in on the late Roland Martin, right? And
I'm sorry, he died?
The late great Roland Martin. No, he didn't die after the live. I guess you could say that.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But I've seen so many times, right, to where we'll see Roland on his show, Roland Martin Unfiltered, talking about you guys, whether it's you, Tariq, FBA, ADOS, Simple Simon, Negroes, all these things, right?
Sure.
Do you think that we could ever work with the Boule class, or do you think that we need to take a different approach? Because I see a rift between the Roland Martin side and our side, per se.
Sure.
Do you think that there's any way that both sides could collaborate, or is it best to just, hey, they're over there, we're over here? How do you feel about that approach?
I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, because I am from Philly, and I am from that particular part of Philly. But do I look like Dr. Umar? What about me says Pan-African?
Yeah.
I'm not having conversations with babbling tethers who disrespect me. You know, because I've challenged the man to a push-up contest. I have invited him on my platform on I Never Knew TV. I've invited him on my podcast. He does not show up, but you got to. You dumbasses keep talking about tangibles and do for self. How dare you disrespect the late, great, honorable Elijah Muhammad? Do for self. It's not. I know self-sufficiency is hard for a musty tether to understand, but it's not about being dependent on the government. It's about making sure that we are taking care of ourselves. The reason that Chinatown and Little Italy and the Delhi District and the Diamond District are respected is because they take care of themselves first, and they make sure that their neighborhoods have certain standards, and they avail themselves of the political process, not only from a voting block standpoint, but from a financial standpoint. The problem with musty tethers, paid Democratic shills like him, are that you're loyal to your check. You're not loyal to black people. And I don't care how many times you say that they're talking about me in the barbershop. Go to my iPad. No, let's go to your iPad, Roland. Because if you were as concerned about the well-being of black people as you were as hiding those white booty cheeks that you had on your iPad, maybe we could collaborate and get something done, sir. But you're a walking pause. You have not done anything significant for the black community other than yell and then call people dumbasses. And I don't know about you, Caleb. Maybe you're a little bit different because you're a little younger than I am. If you are having a difference of opinion with someone, is the first course of action Caleb Smith decides to do is call them dumbasses?
Nah.
Why? Well, why not?
I'm gaslighting, adding fuel to the fire.
Oh, so you're not ameliorating the situation, you're exacerbating it. You're not making it better, you're purposely making it worse. If my facts are facts, then I ought to be able to present those facts. And the thing about Roland Martin is he likes his band of merry dashiki wearing yes men and women. I'm here for people who understand that everybody else in this country has gotten tangibles. Roland got tangibles. Roland got a check. He should understand what it means to get a check from the federal government. Didn't Kamala pay him multiple six figures for commercials? Did you see a Kamala Harris commercial on Roland Martin Unfiltered?
Not that I can think of.
No, you didn't. But what you did see was a real nice pus. Yeah, he does look a little bloated. Might be some pus in there. You saw a really nice puff piece interview where he asked her no hard-hitting questions whatsoever, but he's so independent. Well, the Republicans are doing this, and you're going to see, you know, that there's less government jobs. And how are you going to do for self if maybe you carry the one and there is a government job and you need a government contract? Well, less than 3% of all government contracts go to foundational Black Americans anyway. Less than 2% of all SBA loans go to foundational Black Americans. So why are we talking in very, very teeny tiny little itty bitty eensy weensy margins so that you can try to outthink the people who don't have time to Google it because they're living from pillar to post, paycheck to paycheck, and they're making decisions between heat and food while you just got a multiple six-figure check and you're still bitching. And you're getting checks from Isaac Hayes from Fanbase. So I'm trying to understand, number one, why are you yelling? And number two, why you think ostracizing foundational Black Americans is a good idea. Oh, because you can't cosplay like you're one of us anymore because we're delineating? Could that be it? Because you're a Haitian tether. And this is not to disparage good Haitian Americans, but y'all need to check y'all brethren because he's toxic. And other than contributing to the economy of Denny's, Waffle House, Wendy's, McDonald's, Pick and Save, Jack in the Box, and Pizza Hut, Domino's, and Papa John's, what is Roland Martin really doing to stimulate the economy? So yeah, no, I'm good on that. But if ever he want to sit down, since he has so much to say about me, he's always welcome to talk to me, but he won't. Because it's not a fair fight. You got to deal with him, his booty cheeks, his three chins, his dashiki band of merry misfits who just go yip 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 yip, the producer in his ear, and what is that? 5-6 iPads on that set. I mean, yeah, I'd probably even be more of a genius if I could just have an open book test. It's amazing how many people got to open their laptops when I show up, and I just come, my phone in my pocket. I don't know what I know.
Get to work. So, Dave, is the Black Boule class still effective in today's time?
When have they been effective of doing anything other than being a bunch of talented 10th Negroes that pride themselves on being a bunch of talented 10th Negroes? And okay, all right, no, let me be fair.
Influential, I would say then.
Let me be fair.
Influential.
Do I think we need an aspirational class of Black people? Absolutely. Do I think it needs to be the Boule class? Absolutely not. I'm kind of tired of the Jack and Jill talented 10th divine 9 Negroes, because let's give them their credit. They do credit repair programs. They do book drives. They do, hairstyles for little girls and bicycles for kids and reading programs and job fairs and resume writing. But has any of that in the past 115 years done much to lift Black people out of their condition in a significant way? So how is that effective to the other 90% of foundational Black Americans who need actual tangible help? You having your glad handing ski-wee circle jerk is not really doing much for us. You can oop oop and e-yip and oop all you want to. However, my whole thing is, when it comes to the Boule class, and speaking of Roland again, he said, but there's only, it's 5,000 people in the lab. It's only like 5,500 people in the Boule. I thought so you admit that you're in the Boule now, Roland. Oh, okay, cool. We got to watch out for these folks. We got to watch out for these, it's not even Steven from Django. Have you ever seen the movie Life?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
My favorite part of that movie is, like, if you notice, there's no gates. You notice there's no fences. Yeah. But what we do have is the gun line. Tell them about the gun line, boss. That's what most of them are to me. Are there good Boule? Yeah, just like there are good people who live in the South who happen to be white, whose granddaddy is a Klansman. I'm not taking that risk. I haven't seen anybody go above and beyond. And if you really cared that much, you'd stop with just talking about HBCUs all the time, because you don't like to address the corruption of the money mismanagement in HBCUs. You continue to talk about this particular Black business, but not really have you seen the Roland Martin Black Business Collective? You haven't seen that on the Black Star Network? You ain't seen that? It's not there? When have you seen the Boule Bowl? Has there been like a Boule conclave where they just talk about all of the waist speed wearers and the shea butter manufacturers or the natural soap makers or the brothers who have their own clothing line, whether that's sweats or sneakers or suits? Or have you seen the Boule Bowl? Has there been a Boule business expo? You haven't said, Sid, have you seen it? No. Nobody in here has seen it. Ain't we in Atlanta physically right now? Are we not physically in Atlanta? Yeah. Have you seen the Boule do anything like that?
In the Black Mecca. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So my question to you would be, not to answer your question with a question, but my question to you would be, what have you seen in your lifetime that they've done that made you say, you know what, I want that? Name one thing that has moved the needle for Black people. So if you have not moved the needle for Black people, and y'all have been around since in very various forms since the early 1900s, no, you can keep that too.
Dave is not playing Dave. And your book, again, y'all cop this, The Real Black Agenda. You break down one topic that is not talked about enough of how young Black college students graduate and there's no job market. They're in a pile of student loan debt.
Sure.
And then, from seeing from my own experience of white counterparts, they have a dad who owns this company or an uncle, and they walk right on in on the board, 6-figure salary out the gate. But then you see Black students after school applying to these same jobs that's already taken, looked out for. So Dave, if you can just highlight, man, for us of what young Black college students are facing after walking across that stage.
So young Black college graduates are facing debilitating student loan debt, which kills your debt to income ratio, which means you can't really get a good deal on the car. You damn sure can't get a deal on the house. You damn sure can't walk in with any business plan that anybody's going to fund. That's what they're faced with. The problem with the Black community over the last 60 years is that every generation has to start from zero. There's very few of us that have accrued enough wealth and had enough wealth planning, wealth management to create trusts and wills and insurance. When somebody dies, it's like, oh, damn, did you hear Ray died? Yeah. When's the funeral? Shoot, I don't know. They just put up a GoFundMe. They're going to have a fish fry next week. So that is a problem. Now, let's talk about the fact that there's a lot of people out here, specifically the most enrolled group of people are Black women. And a lot of their degrees are in liberal study, underwater basket weaving, hoobly-doo that does not come with any job attached to it. But you got a piece of paper that you could have easily gotten printed at Office Depot, Staples, Office Max, FedEx, Kinko's, any of that. And you got debt up to your eyeballs, but you did it because you got all of these degrees. And if you're not using college to pay off for you, then all you're doing is spending your youth and most of your adulthood paying off college. Now, the thing that people don't understand is college used to be a situation where you could get a job. And there were choices back in the day. You were either going to get a trade, you were going to go to Job Corps and get a certification, you're going to community and then go out here and start your business, or go in with a couple of friends and build something up. Or you would take the route of going to higher educations to become a doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, dentist, anything like that. But no, we're majoring in nonsensical BS and we wonder why we can't get a job in it, because they keep promising that. And once people realized that these degrees were worthless, the college industry started creating the college industrial complex. And that college industrial complex, it's so vast, and we're talking billions of dollars with a B. Here's what it looks like. So the tuition, that's just free money, because aren't the buildings always there? When they build a building, isn't that building already free and clear?
That's an excellent point, Dave. You're right.
Then, well, the kids have to have someplace to stay, don't they? So we have dormitories, and you have to pay tens of thousands of dollars per semester to just go to sleep and have a quiet place to study. And it's not the best place. It's a twin bed. The mattress is a little bit thicker than what you get at the county lockup around the corner, but yet and still they make you pay through the nose, and you got to make sure you have that non-refundable deposit. But you don't stop there, because now that you've gotten your kid a place to sleep, they also need a meal plan, because you got to feed the children mediocre, overrated pizza. Yes, it's a step up from public school pizza. And then of course they have multi-meal parading a Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Then they also have the waffle machine, and then they have the salad bar. Ugh. But of course, after a while, kids are not going to want to eat in the cafeteria. So you have to put extra money on that meal plan so that they can go to one of the many corporate sponsored restaurants. Potbelly, Chipotle, Blaze Pizza, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC. Everybody's in on it. But then let's leave Student housing and res life alone for a minute, and let's turn our attention to athletics, shall we? Well, Under Armour's got some deals in there. Nike's got some deals in there. We also have to make sure that we have brand new stadiums that are also subsidized and paid for by the state. Notice I have not touched the tuition money at all yet. Oh, I almost forgot. Let me backtrack, because in res life and in campus life, they also make sure that there is bids from companies like Sodexo, Marriott, and all these other chains, so that they can be the one providing the sustenance for the kids in the cafeteria. Oh, and then after you've gotten all of that out of the way, let's not forget the good old bookstore. The bookstore that has relationships with every last publisher in there. And what they do is every semester, they'll change the color of the cover and 3 words in a book, and they'll make the book that you just spent $100 to $500 for absolutely obsolete. And you can't resell it because the resale value is no good, because this is last year's model. You want to talk about something that is a scam? I just showed you a Ponzi scheme that if anybody else did it and you change the word education to racketeering or illegal gambling or street pharmacia, they would be locked up for the rest of their lives, the rest of their children's lives, and the rest of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th generations to follow. But we let this slide, and it's all funded by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which pulls money out of absolute thin air and gives it to a 17, 18-year-old who they would not give a business loan to for 1/10 of that amount. So that's how college works. And before somebody says, I don't know what I'm talking about, not only did I go to college multiple times, not only am I a college professor at my alma mater, not only that, but I just got finished paying a $186,383.63 tuition for my oldest daughter to attend and graduate Howard University. Now, of course, she's a teacher, so she's actually doing something with her degree, and she's out getting grants and doing things with visual arts and so on and so forth. But that is the problem. It is a hustle and it is a scam. Does that not mean that no one ever gets the benefit of a good quality education? No, I'm not saying that at all. There are plenty of people who do. But if you look up what the Bureau of Labor and Statistics says, 73% of people who graduate with a bachelor's degree or better are not working in the field that they majored in. So that means 27% are. 27% on any test you can think of is what?
And that's beyond failing. Yeah.
So the system is beyond failing. So don't get mad at Dave. Go ask yourself why the system has been so corrupt, and then you get mad at an orange man for saying, we need to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education. Don't like it. It's not doing anything well. You got kids in Baltimore who can't read. You got kids in Atlanta who can't read. You got kids in Philly who can't read. Yeah. You got kids being diagnosed with autism and then getting an IEP, but they can't get the help that they need. The one thing that I will say, though, the college system has gotten really good at making sure that they're also in bed with the pharmaceutical industry, because when a kid has so much anxiety, they're getting on Ritalin to handle that. They're getting on sertraline, which you probably know as Zoloft. And then what happens? I used to get these emails from the dean. You'd say, Professor Anderson, this person has whatever it is, and they need a little bit of extra time for their testing, a little bit of extra time for assignments, so on and so forth. So they want to make sure they keep that good machine going. So, Oh, and then by the way, there are not abortion clinics on campus, but there are campus health places that sure enough encourage abortion, and aside from that, do some testing and give out condoms. And again, I'm with all of that except for the abortion part. But by and large, in the last 60 years, by and large in your lifetime, how much has college really changed the condition of densely populated Black areas in America?
Bro, the AUC is right up the street, Dave, where you got Morehouse, Spelman, Morris Brown. It's in the middle of the hood, off the West End. So to your point, that right there, it shows you just off of visuals. It doesn't really impact everybody else around. But indeed, man. So Dave, for young Black college grads and young black athletes, right? In college, man, firsthand, I would see brothers who were just going to school solely to play that sport. If they get hurt, if they get dropped from the team, anything, right? They feel like life is over. So now somebody had a full ride somewhere, but then outside of sports, athletics, they don't know who they are. For young black men who are solely going to school just for football, basketball, do you feel like that those kids should start looking into trade school opposed to being somewhere for 1 to 2 years? You leave from school, no degree, no skill sets. How do you feel about that, Dave?
I think folks need to stop playing individual ball and treat everything about college like a team sport. Here's what I mean. If you know for a fact that 90% of your team is not going to the league, then you guys need to come together and build some type of consortium. Figure out, okay, so you're majoring in engineering, you're majoring in communication, you're pre-law, whatever the case may be, and you start figuring out how you can move together, because together you can do a lot more and guarantee your own success. The plan should be to label yourself an entrepreneur with a degree as opposed to being a worker with a degree, because nobody cares about a degree worker. Hell, you need a master's degree to manage a call center now. Like, let that sink in. You're managing a bunch of ne'er-do-wells on the phone saying, thank you for calling whatever the company is. My name is Chuck. How can I help you? That's where we are. So the best thing that you can do, wait for it, because I talk about this in the Real Black Agenda, cooperative group economics with a plan in order to make something happen. If you're sending your kid to school and you're so happy, yeah, yes, they running with the ball, they throwing the ball, they catching the ball, they hitting somebody with the ball, but they're also getting a good education too. Well, make sure that they have a plan for that education, and that plan should involve making sure that they collaborate and put those resources together and start looking at what they can put together, what they can buy together. They need to make sure that they are focusing on financial literacy. There's a lot that happens before the kid gets to college that we're not doing as parents. That is problematic. You're letting your kids just go off to the wolves. You're saying, you can be anything you want to be. That's why you got folks identifying as cats and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and they get crushed when they apply for 2 jobs and both jobs say no, because they have not had the lesson of resilience. And so aside from that, we got to make sure that they're investing what they get. And especially these athletes now getting these NIL deals, these name, image, and likeness deals. Yeah. Someone has to start looking at who's going to have the fine print. In my family, for example, my brother, God rest his soul, he knew that he wasn't going in the league. He knew that. And my brother was a basketball champion in high school. He was going to play in college, but he decided to go a different route, and he went pre-law and criminal justice. And he knew that he needed to be sharp because his kid brother was coming. And anytime I needed to know something or I needed advice on something, it was my brother, unbeknownst to a lot of people who were saying, yeah, do this, don't do that, tell him this, go here. Somebody in the family has got to start structuring the family like a business. Yeah, Susie, you're going to need to be an accountant. Raheem, you're going to need to be the family doctor. Like, that's what everybody else is doing. It's strategy, not just go to college because, we had to fight for the education. No, you need to make the education pay off for you and start putting people where they are. If your oldest kid is the next LeBron, then the kid after him needs to major in accounting or major in law so that he can become his agent. Like, we don't think like that. We don't put those things forward. We don't talk about PR. We don't put our kids in charm school. We don't tell them how to operate in front of a camera. We don't give them the training that they need so that they can sit in boardrooms and not get taken advantage of by a bunch of legalese and 5 lawyers that happen to look like you, that work for the white man, that have already been paid off to make sure that you get the worst possible deal ever. If we started doing that, then we'd be a lot further on. But what we're doing right now is hoping against hope that somebody's going to get picked in the draft.
Dave, how do you embrace the pressures of being the leader of your family as a black man? What words of advice do you have for, young black men in their 20s, 30s, 40s who are young fathers, young husbands?
I don't have any children out of wedlock. That's not to impress anybody, but to impress upon the importance of family planning. The other part of that is wherever you are in your fatherhood journey, you a daddy now. There is a life that depends on you. You had the pressure of getting her number. You had the pressure of taking her to dinner. You had the pressure of clap, clap, clappity, clap. You had the pressure of it's a boy, or the pressure of it's a girl. So now you have the responsibility of carrying on somebody's bloodline that has a history that far predates you. So suck it up, buttercup, and get to work. That's what it is. When my kids were born, I stopped playing for my first name. You may see Dave, but Dave plays for the name on the back of his jersey, and that name is Anderson. That's how that goes. It's not about me. It may look like it's about me because I got books and I'm speaking and blah, blah, blah. But I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing it so I can pay $186,383.63. Yes, that was the exact number of what I paid for 4.5 years of Howard out-of-state tuition, room, board, and expenses. I'm not doing it for me. My time in the sun is over. I'm doing it to make sure that my children and their children and their children are set up. That's what needs to happen. And whatever you got to do, if it's not sexy, if it does not fall in the class of what some woman's idea of a high value man is, but it's feeding your kids, get to work. I sold gutters. I sold alarm systems for 2 different companies. I sold water on Roosevelt Boulevard in a $5 cooler and didn't come home until I made sure I had enough money for groceries. I'm not above anything and nothing is beneath me. And that's the attitude you have to have when you decided to bring a life into this world. Period, point blank. So keep the faith, keep moving, get back to work.
Come on, brother. Beautiful, man. Dave, Snowfall, man, in my humble opinion, is one of the greatest shows of all time. On the show, of course, Franklin Saint working with the CIA, Freeway Rick, as we know, a lot of similarities based off of that story. It's so crazy, though, brother, because I saw on the news for months leading up to this of Trump messing around with Colombia and Venezuela. And man, instantly I was thinking about it of drugs. And God we trust, guns, oil, and drugs. And then lo and behold, we see last week, Venezuelan president arrested. Dave, if you can expose to our audience viewers of America's close relationship interactions with guns, oil, and drugs, especially in Latin America that we see happening right now.
Let's pretend we live on Earth 2 and everything that I'm saying is hypothetical and for entertainment purposes only. Yeah. Let's just say that after Nixon decided it wasn't a good idea to be able to carry $1 million in your pocket because of big bills, and the highest bill you could get in the land at that point was a $100 bill, things started to change when we moved away from the gold standard, meaning that if you turned in $1, you could get that dollar's value in gold, right? Some people believe, and I'm not here to question your beliefs, but some people believe that we moved from the gold standard to the street pharmaceutical standard, meaning that the money is backed by something that never loses its value, because right now, I guarantee you I could pee outside and splash somebody who's getting high tonight. So that's what it is. Now, with that, let's put the drug thing aside for a minute and let's talk about Venezuela. Maduro has been responsible for China doing end arounds when it comes to oil, because they have been in debt to China for a very long time. And one of the ways they pay off China is allegedly, supposedly, for entertainment purposes only, giving them millions and millions of dollars of barrels of oil, and that leads up to billions and billions of dollars per year in oil on the back end. They also were given oil in supplying Russia with oil. Now, before people start getting so up in arms about the fact that the president decided to go in, he went in, he said, listen, I don't even need my African Americans for this. Just need a small group of people. And go in there, they get him out. 2:00 in the morning, they got there. 3:00 in the morning, they snatched him. 4:00 in the morning, he was on the plane. 11 o'clock, little Marco, and the Orange Man were having a press conference. 0 American casualties. Now, before you say, I did not win it, and they needed to stay out of everybody's business. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, boo-boo cakes, because didn't your forever president say that Maduro was a criminal? And didn't Maduro say that Obama was going to pay and he was going to burn for sticking his nose in the Venezuelan people's business? How didn't your good old Uncle Joe, who doesn't know whether to shit or wind his watch, put a $25 million, then a $50 million bounty on this guy? So it's okay when they do it, but it's a problem when Trump actually just takes the piece off the chessboard. That, at bare minimum, sounds like hypocrisy. I don't know about you, but I'm a dad, and that means that I'm an unpaid Uber a lot of times. Karate lessons, gym, taking the oldest to the train station, that kind of stuff. Gas prices are nuttier than hooker spit at Magic City. So, yeah, I want him to get all the oil. If it's going to mean we going to get some low oil around here and the prices are going to come down, yeah, I'm with that. I'm absolutely with that. And again, if we take that piece off the chessboard, then we have more money that can then stimulate the economy, which means that most likely we'd probably pay less taxes. But see, y'all don't want to hear that because it comes from the Orange Man. If Obama did it, it wouldn't be an issue. Oh, wait, but didn't he? Did he have approval of Congress to go and kill Osama bin Laden? He did not. Did he have approval from Congress and Senate to go and destabilize Libya and unalive Gaddafi, who wanted to give billions of dollars to foundational Black Americans and wanted to have a currency for the continent, who was giving out free healthcare and free education? Again, dictator, yeah, sure. But have you seen Libya now? These are whole countries now. Obama destabilized them. So if you got an issue with the president of the United States having 0 casualties, getting this man off the chessboard, getting that oil back for America, why don't you just go live in Venezuela? Go live in the country that you want to defend because you don't like it. It's so bad that the View started eating each other like an Ouroboros. Because Whoopi's like, why is he going over there? And what he did was, who voted for this? And Anna Navarro said, the Colombians vote, the Cubans voted for it, the Puerto Ricans, all of Latins in America voted for this because you don't understand. For 25 years, this man has been a dictator. Oh, and by the way, Maduro lost a free and fair election, and the guy that beat Maduro got ran out of the country and put into exile. But I thought we didn't. Wasn't it a couple weeks ago? Maybe I'm wrong. Can you use your Googles? Wasn't it a couple of months ago at least? They had a No Kings rally because they don't like dictators. Now you got these same bleeding heart, purple-haired liberals saying, "Yeah, leave the dictator alone." Man, listen, Trump is trolling y'all in the best way. Y'all keep proving him right. He's literally playing in your faces, and he's doing the one thing that you're supposed to do when you can't be bought. You're cleaning up the corruption. I ain't mad at that. So yeah, that's where I am on Venezuela.
Sheesh, brother. In 2026, Dave, what do you think of the white, to your point, quote unquote, purple-haired liberal during this time? Because as we know, Brother Malcolm, he critiqued him, Martin Luther King, so many others. So what do you think of the white liberal in 2026 right now?
The white liberal needs to find something to do other than tell Black people how oppressed we are. Because the truth of the matter is the white liberal is not doing anything to benefit us financially, holistically, spiritually. They're just doing it so that they can say to their kids, once they dye their hair back to blonde or brown or whatever the hell it was, that they had a purple hair phase and they rode some black peen, or they got themselves some of that WAP. And they're awake inside in the best way. And I love being woke. And I went out here and I would have voted for Obama a third time. Like, shut up. You're doing nothing. All this is performance art. Because if that's the case, how come they're not occupying Wall Street anymore? How come they're not out here doing anything worth talking about other than saying ICE is bad? But they didn't do that when Obama was the deporting millions upon millions of people. And when he and Biden built those cages, I did not see the white liberals say anything. But the white liberal got mad when the current president was the former president, and he was tossing paper towel rolls in Puerto Rico as if he could have just walked through the crowd and handed them to them. Like, what have white liberals done for the black community tangibly in your lifetime? Just name me the top 3 things.
Colonized movements. Taking over Black Lives Matter. No, sir, not at all. Yeah, nothing. Zero.
So yeah, that's it. I don't have much more energy to give a white liberal other than to say, move your tree hugging cuckoo ass around. That's it.
Wow. Dave, man, you've been going viral all last year, man, doing great work. Bro, you had one great debate. Frank Zanu, I watched that, man. Body bag. Why is it, man, so important for our people to speak up for ourselves, our issues? Because as you saw, phrases and, things being said as, Black Americans don't have a culture. Why is it so important for us to vanguard what we have and speak up and speak out?
Gatekeeping is essential. Every other culture does it. Every other culture does it. The Asian community didn't take too kindly to Bruce Lee showing outsiders what was going on, but people forget Bruce Lee was half Jewish. I think the problem is it's not about delineation. I think if you have a Haitian flag in your profile on Instagram, sac passe. If you have a Jamaican flag or a Nigerian flag or a Ghanaian flag in your Instagram bio, hats off to you. God bless you. But it's funny when we say we're foundational Black Americans and we want to delineate, we're being divisive. I really don't understand. Well, I do. And I will stand 10 toes down on this. And I like Frank Zanu. He's a really nice person. He said to Nancy, "You have no culture. What is the African American culture? Twerking?" Well, no. See, here's the thing. He said on that clip that Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, have no culture. But he then got on the Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast. Shout out to those boys. They're phenomenal.
Yep.
And because I said it when I reacted to this clip, you are going to respect my culture or I'm going to force you to. And I did. When he got on that show, though, he said, "None of us have culture. I'm from Benin. Benin wasn't a country this many years ago." And da. But when I started breaking down Seneca Village and Eatonville and Wilmington, North Carolina, and Wilmington, Delaware, and Chester, Pennsylvania, and all the places, Philadelphia, all the places that foundational Black Americans have lost when they tried to build their own. Oh, I don't want a history lesson. I don't want that. What happens is, I think a lot of non-FBA people who happen to be Black like to be intellectually disingenuous when it comes to who we are. They love to be intellectually disingenuous when it comes to what we have contributed. They love to be intellectually disingenuous when it comes to the rights that we have secured for them, immigration rights, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, so that they can have the freedoms that they enjoy. Because the thing of it is, respectfully, if in fact your country that you ride for was so great, why aren't you fixing your country? You're over here bad mouthing the people who built the country that now the freedoms you have, you enjoy. The other part of that is you'll have people like Frank say, "Well, I got a scholarship and I did this and I did that. And why don't you do this? And why don't you do that?" What non-FBA Black people tend to forget is that they tend to have an immigrant experience, which is different than a foundational Black American experience. Here's what I mean. If you are a Nigerian American and you get out of line, what can we do to you? We can deport you. If you're a Ghanaian American and you get out of line, we can deport you. If you are Afro-Brazilian, we can deport you. If you are Jamaican, we can deport you. Where are they going to deport me and you to, Caleb?
They have nowhere to take us to.
This is our homeland.
That's right.
And when people get mad at it, yeah, no, you're a descendant. Everybody who's black is not a direct descendant from slavery. It goes deeper than that. I need y'all to pick up They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima. I need you to read Leroy Bennett Jr. Before the Mayflower. Even the writings of Christopher Columbus, for you people who like those things whitewashed. He thought that he saw and described the people that he saw, the indigenous people, as black, for lack of a better term. So, yeah, we have every right to delineate, because y'all don't have a problem when a Haitian becomes the first black neurosurgeon that specializes in underwater cerebral palsy surgery. Y'all say, oh, look at that Haitian. That's Haitian that did that right there. It's not we all black and that's divisive and I just want all black people to win. It ain't all black people's win. It's Haitian Americans win when that happens. Well, foundational black Americans have said, listen, this is who we are. You ain't us. We love you. You're a cousin. We love you, cousin. But you ain't my brother. That's it. That's all. And if you got a problem with that, that says a lot more about the fact that you're triggered and you're upset that you can't hide behind the cloak of being a foundational black American any longer. That's why Roland gets so triggered and called people dumbasses in between bites of his ho-hos, Twinkies, chicken fingers, whatever he's eating this week.
Come on now, brother. Dave, man, you had a great interview that was unaired on The Breakfast Club. Ant-Man CEO, bro, shout out to you. Great brother, man, on this channel. I watched the whole live stream. It was a great conversation, Dave. How are you feeling with seeing now it's been since last year that it's unaired? Do you feel like it was too controversial? How do you feel about that sit down, that conversation not being shared to the masses?
I think that conversation was not shared to the masses because somebody got pissed off by something I said. I don't know if it was Jamal Bryant, Roland Martin, D.L. Hughley, Charlemagne himself. And quite frankly, I don't care because respectfully, I seem to be doing just okay without it. You know, if you want to watch it, you can watch it uncut in its entirety at thebusinessbully.com/breakfast club. The other part of that is when I go anywhere, I go in good faith. I try to improve the businesses of the individuals that I tend to sit down with. It's what I do. I can't help it. I've done it for you, respectfully. Am I lying?
No.
So me coming in and trying to help or give you a plan in an area that my team discovered you might need a little help in wasn't me trying to flex on you. It was me trying to help my people out. It's what I do. I'm a business coach. I'm an entrepreneur. I think one of the quickest ways to level the playing field in this yet to be United States is to focus on growth and entrepreneurship and finding ways to start, build, and scale your businesses. Somebody might have got offended by that. It could have been the fact that I mentioned several times in the book about how Planned Parenthood acts like, oh, well, we're different now. It's not the same, even though you can't divorce the fruit of a thing from the root of a thing. Meaning if you plant a peach tree in Atlanta, you're not getting apple pie from that tree, no matter where you plant it, no matter how you water it. But if the Klan decided to go to Buckhead and start selling KKKFC chicken, are you eating it? Sid, are you eating it? But why? Why wouldn't you eat the KKK chicken?
That's my enemy. They don't have, best interest at heart. Nah.
So your best interest at heart could not be met by KKKFC because they probably be putting something in the chicken to destroy you. So the billions of dollars that these Planned Parenthood folks make off of what is now classified as medical waste, from extracting the melanin, extracting the stem cells, in some cases, trying to find the next HeLa cells, all that becomes medical waste when they vacuum that baby out of you. And they're making a ton of money by doing so. So why in the bloody blue blazes would you let somebody like me point out all those things? But, you know, the thing that was really sad for me when it comes to the Breakfast Club interview, and the only reason I'm talking about this is because you asked, is not one of them, all while they're asking me questions like, what have you built? What's your solution? Didn't Dr. Claude Anderson say this? All those things, not one of them read one word in the book beyond the cover. They got the book 3 months before I went up there. They got the audiobook 3 months before I went up there. They didn't bother to read it. They didn't have any intentions on reading it. My whole thing is you could have saved me and my staff and my team and my videographer a whole lot of time. I could have went and done Sway in the morning. I could have went to Rosenberg. I could have went to Miss Jones. I would have rather gone to Miss Jones. Hell, I worked with her and she ain't never turned me away. Then have me get up there, get suited and booted, bring out the $1 million title and break down the things that need to happen in the Black community because you didn't like it. And, you know, when I talk in broad terms, I talk in broad terms because America, foundational Black America, is broad and vast. We all have several interests that still permeate throughout society. So you have to talk in generality. So when you say things like, well, you know, we got to watch talking in blanket statements and generalities. That's ironic because a nationally syndicated radio show, as a person that has done at least 5 or 6 of them in my illustrious career, the first thing they teach you is when you're syndicating a show, you have to talk to everybody. That's why Jay Leno and Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, all the Jimmys, when they're doing late night shows, they're not talking about Wisconsin. They're talking about America because you're trying to get into millions of homes. So if I'm trying to get into millions of homes, just like, I don't know, the Breakfast Club does, wouldn't I be trying to address the majority of people, not just, you know, individual people? Because we got this one person here and there's a midwife here. Are there as many midwives and culturally competent clinics for Black women as there are abortion clinics and Planned Parenthoods in the hood? The answer is a resounding no. Are we better off by and large as a community by these exceptional talented 10th Negroes you're trying to defend right now, Charlamagne? The answer is no. And that's the only point I made. So given all of that, the reason that you're probably never going to see that interview on the Breakfast Club is because I probably ruined the bag for a few people, but you can go to thebusinessbully.com/Breakfast Club and watch the whole thing for free.
Talk about it, brother. Black media, man, is changing, Dave. Media as a whole is changing. You know, we see the streaming wars between Netflix, Paramount. We're seeing football now being on Christmas on Netflix, NBA on Peacock. We even see podcasting deals with Netflix, which I think is smart. That's genius.
Certainly.
For Black media, how should Black media make sure, whether it's journalists, reporters, all these people, that they aren't left behind with this shift from traditional formats such as newspapers, all of that, to just straight digital now?
Stop looking to get a deal. Black people's problem is we give up our birthright. We give up our gifts. We give up our talent in order to get a bag. And quick, fast, upfront money doesn't do well in the Black community, specifically in the entertainment space. And if you think I'm lying, I present to you at least 10 seasons of Unsung on TV1. Because all them people have one thing in common. 2, actually. The first is they all got advances. The second is they're all singing in bingo halls and VFWs. So sometimes my dad, God rest his soul, would say, David, sometimes you got to ignore the free lunch. You got to go out here and get it. What we have, what did Liam Neeson say in Taken? What I have is a particular set of skills. Now, if you just get out of my way, that'll be the end of it. But if not, I will find you and I will wash you. Black people need to start going independent. Black people need to start realizing that the only people we ever need is each other. And if we have each other, we'll never be broke. I am very, very pro-Black and I'm very, very pro-America. But I wrote the real Black agenda. I didn't write the real BIPOC agenda. I didn't write the real LGBTQIA, people of color, queer agenda. I didn't write the minority agenda. I wrote the real Black agenda because I'm not afraid to say Black. I like being Black. I have been Black. I'm going to continue to be Black unless I get vitiligo. And even then, I'm going to find the makeup that Michael couldn't find to make sure that I stay as chocolate as I am right now. Hell, I'm darker now than I was when I was in my 20s. I love Blackness. I think Blackness is great. I think Blackness has been co-opted, remixed, smacked up, flipped, rubbed down. Oh no, we got K-pop. Smacked up, flipped, rubbed down. Oh no, we got Bruno Mars. I think we need to start focusing on each other. There's no reason that Joe Budden shouldn't be bigger than Joe Rogan, except for we hate to see one Negro win. We got to start putting ourselves in that position, supporting the people, even the people you don't like. I'm not a fan of Roland Martin because he talks real greasy and he has some choice words to say about me. And then he bullied King Randall. And I got a problem when you bullying kids younger than the kids I have. But I will never begrudge that man his right to speak. I think it's important. I think what he's doing needs to be supported, even if I don't agree with it, even though I think a lot of it is nonsensical, glad handling, tether babble, circle jerk mess. I think it's important that he's supported. I don't think Cars TV or Pet TV is doing a lot for the Black community, but I do like the fact that Byron Allen acquired the Weather Channel. I do not like the fact that we love to talk about what Tory Lanez allegedly did, and we ignore all the things that we actually know right now, and we forget that Tory Lanez was just fine up until he made millions of dollars in 60 seconds without a record company involved.
NFTs.
Yeah. We didn't have any problem with Puff because we know Puff did not invent the freak off. Maybe Clive Davis did, allegedly. But when he started thinking that he was going to be able to do what George Clooney did because Diageo wasn't giving Ciroc the love that they needed, all of a sudden, Diddy's a pedophile. Diddy's a problem. Diddy's baby oil. And he's abusive. Yeah, sure. Absolutely he is. But y'all wasn't talking about abuse when Clive Davis destroyed Milli Vanilli and still walked away unscathed. You wasn't talking about abuse when Clive Davis basically, allegedly, depending on who you asked, drove Phyllis Hyman to unalive herself and replaced her with a young woman who's saying, oh, I want to dance with somebody. And then when you fast forward a few years later, after he basically gutted her voice, partied while she lay drowning in a bathtub. You don't talk about how he pitted Mario against Usher and told Usher that Mario was going to be his replacement. We don't talk about any of that. We don't talk about the fact that Beats by Dre made more money for Jimmy Iovine than Dr. Dre himself. We tend to just stop when somebody who looks like us flies a little bit too close to the sun or flies a little bit too close to the sea spray. Then all of a sudden, scandal. Which why for me, I always tell people, I'm not Jesus, I'm not perfect. And if somebody says, you know, Dave's the bad guy in the story, well, they're entitled to believe I'm the bad guy in their story. Thank God I'm a new creature in Christ. But the thing of it is, I ain't never claimed to be Jesus because you ain't going to nail me to no cross. I don't walk on water. I don't heal palsy children. I ain't perfect. Look at what they doing to Donnie McClurkin right now. Hey, Miss Donnie. You know, I mean, it's a lot happening out here. I mean, you got preachers in Atlanta running around here complimenting former quarterbacks' pretty legs and talking about, I bought the dress. Now, I have paid for dresses because I'm a father and a husband, but I didn't go out and say, oh, girl, this is going to look good on you. I want to see, I can't wait to run home to you. You wasn't running when you was complimenting for approximately 2 minutes and 43 seconds on how good and how lanolated and moisturized Cam Newton's legs was. Do you know any straight black men who talk about the legs of another straight black man when they're about 3 feet away from them? Have you ever seen that personally in your circles? Is that what you and your homeboys do?
Crazy work. That's all I got to say.
Okay, cool. Just checking. But again, we still got kids who are not reading on grade level, but you got time at New Birth to collect money in buckets. And I know you're having we're going to have the bullseye market because Target is the problem in the black community. If racism and DEI was the biggest problem in the black community, then how come you're not going after all of the racists and all of the people who lost all of their DEI jobs? Because 4% of that only goes to black people. But it sounds good on CNN and it sounds good when you wheel out Jesse Jackson. So no, I'm good on that. And that's probably why Jamal's been running from this smoke, because let's face it, he'd rather be on his show. What's that called again? Let's Be Queer. I'm sorry, Let's Be Clear.
Dave not playing, y'all. Dave not playing. Dave, man.
Yes, sir.
We have, talks about institution building, social media, tangibles, of course, all these things. One company in particular that I think that has a lot of potential, but it's not being properly pushed, utilized, think tanks, all of those things, is Fanbase, right? Dave, if you had a chance, you fix businesses all the time, consultations, coaching, all these things. If you had a chance to sit down with Isaac Hayes III, CEO, founder of Fanbase, what information, advice would you share with him to help propel Fanbase to its fullest potential overall?
I really don't want to answer that question. I'm going to, because I never ducked a question a day in my life. So I don't want to answer that question, and I will tell you why. Because every time I talk about Fanbase, Isaac Hayes gets his walrus panties in a bunch. And I don't know why, because I've never attacked this man personally. Even if I don't particularly like some of the things he said about me. Well, Dave's been talking about me since he's had black hair. I've had gray hair since I was 17 years old. I just stopped dyeing it. It's genetic. I can't do anything about that. But the thing with fan base is this: when you look at Vine, when you look at Instagram, when you look at YouTube, when you look at Twitter, when you look at Clubhouse, okay, maybe not Clubhouse in all fairness, but when you look at most major social media platforms, they built stars. Isaac Hayes has spent his time, for whatever reason, on other platforms that he says are inferior and not doing black people right, telling people to come to his platform that has, and at this point, and it's still very early on, is inferior to the very platforms from a numbers and quality standpoint at this particular time. The other part of that is, Suge Knight famously said when I was a very young man, if you don't want the CEO, executive producer, all in the videos, dancing, come to death row. He's basically the Puff of social media. He's running around everywhere. Fan base, fan base, fan base, fan base. Okay, cool. What's in it for me? Because every time I turn around, you're trying to go after a celebrity. And I'm not saying he hasn't tried certain initiatives, but I would tell him, one, you got to get your numbers right. Because if you look at the SEC filings in that situation, he raises a lot of money, but he only reported something close to like 40 some odd thousand that he made. I think in 2024, 2025, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's the 2024 filings. And he said, well, go run the white people's numbers. Well, the white people aren't promising they're black owned. And you're pretty much the only black face I see at fan base, because everybody else, when they're setting your stuff up, they sure look real palm colored to me. And some of them look like they got a couple of small hats, and that's fine. I got white people who work for me, but I'm still black owned. And 96% of my staff are black people. But the other part of that is you got to admit, and keep in mind, I've been a tech entrepreneur for a very long time. You know, I did hitmeonthehip.com in 2004. I did MP3 imaging. And then after that, we had Hang With, and Hang With was great. 50 Cent was on it. Larry the Cable Guy was on it. Like, we were really making some moves. And then everybody decided, oh, we'll just do an end around and start streaming. Like, we predate Meerkat, if you know what that is. If not, Google it. But the thing that I need folks to understand is you're not going to get there being pig-headed and stubborn. And I don't care how many ads you buy on Roland Martin's channel, it's not hitting. I think he's on to something with doing those vertical
I like
MIDI
that
dramas. I think that is brilliant.
Needs podcasting too.
He does need podcasting.
Need a podcast.
But again, when you're more focused on being the star, you can't build the company. Look at it like this. If you take the Wu-Tang Clan off the table, the Wu-Tang Clan is the only group that was a group from the beginning and stayed a group. You had people who went solo, but there wasn't a star, and then said, this is my group. When you look at the Saint Lunatics, you know, Ali,
Murphy Lee,
Murphy Lee, all that, have any of them respectfully gone beyond what Nelly has? No. Okay, D12, have any of them gone beyond what Eminem has? No. 50 Cent is dope. G-Unit is dope.
Tony Ayo, Memphis Bleak.
Well, Memphis Bleak is Rockefeller.
Oh, yeah,
Young Buck is G-Unit. Shout out to my man. Shout out to my man Buck. Shout out to everybody in Nashville. Has 50 Cent, from a rap perspective, outdone Eminem? No. Hustle Gang, have they outdone Tip?
Hey, Hustle Gang, nah. Young Dro, yeah, nah.
And Dro dope. Let's not act
Duval,
like
man.
dope.
Shout out to Lil Duval as well. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
Have any of the
Young Money? That's another.
Have any of the diplomats outdone Cameron? Has Young Money? You know, have any of them outdone Wayne?
Longevity wise, not really, because Wayne, he's still cool. Drake, he would get booed. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, if anybody Beyonce has signed, has Chloe and Halle outdone Beyonce? Okay, Rockefeller. Shout out to Bean. Shout out to Freeway.
Now we can talk about Memphis Bleak.
Yeah, shout out to Memphis Bleak. Memphis Bleak was supposed to be new and improved Jay-Z. That was on Jay-Z's album.
Facts.
has the entire Rockefeller outdone Jay. I'll spot you Kanye, but that's not Rockefeller.
Yeah.
That was the last bastion of Rockefeller, right? So I'm saying all that to say, if you in front of the camera more than the people that you say that you want to put on so bad, you can't be a star and be a CEO at the same time like that. My business is centered around me, business development, coaching, and having fractional ownership of other Black businesses. So I am the face of my brand, no different than Vidal Sassoon or something like that. But in a tech space, in a social media space, you're the one guy. This is not like Tom in MySpace from 20 years ago. Even with that, when you look at Zucks, is Zucks the biggest Facebook star? No. Who's the biggest star on fan base if it's not Isaac Hayes? Name them, please.
Who would you choose, Dave, as the star of fan base if you could?
I don't know nobody on fan base, bro.
Well, not who's currently on fan base, but who would you
if it were me,
implement as your star for fan base?
You want to break it down in categories?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Okay. I would love that.
All right. So comedy, I'd go after Jay Farrell with everything I had.
Smart.
I would go after Jay Farrell and start a comedy channel. If I can't get Jay Farrell, because I don't think you're going to get Kev. I think you get somebody who's coming up, who's dope and still household name.
That's the smartest route.
Get Jay Farrell. If you can't get Jay Farrell, by God, please, Lord, baby, Mexican Jesus, get Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb is destroying absolutely everything.
And he has a podcast, so that's 2 in 1. Yeah, you're right.
Go get the Daily Wrap Up crew.
Yep.
Go see if you can do a partnership with Chuck Creekmore over at allhiphop.com since you care so much about Black people, right? Then in the political space, is there a Roland Martin channel on fan base? Is there like, I don't know. But aside from that, also go get some of these young Black conservatives. Go get a Craig Long, who's absolutely dope. Go get a Peyton Jackson out of Dallas, Texas. Go get Pierre from Rise. Like, get people who can have conversations on both sides of the aisle like everybody else in America does, so you can have, good political debates. Then in sports, give Allen Iverson a channel. Who wouldn't want to listen to The Answer? First of all, he can give you all the types of stories, because let's not rewrite history. Let Uncle Dave recite history. Allen Iverson got crucified for cornrows and tattoos and talking greasy at press conferences. Now LeBron pick up his purse and he walk right out. Iverson crawled so LeBron could fly. Now you got all these bad boys. Everybody look like an Allen Iverson wannabe. It's Attack of the Clones, and I didn't even know we got to episode 2. Also, he can give lessons on what to do and what not to do with your money based on what he did. The stories, I got Allen Iverson stories I'll never share with you. Just from what I saw at The Office. You don't know what The Office is. The Office was the TGI Fridays on what was then City Line Avenue. That TGI Fridays was still there, and that was the house that Allen Iverson built. Iverson was at that Friday so much you automatically knew that you was going to get the residuals, because all of them wasn't going to go with Iverson. So if you're a young single man in the late 90s, early 2000s, you was at that TGI Fridays. That was the Iverson effect. He was, to me, basketball's Deion Sanders, but he wasn't as spit and polish as Deion was. He's a country boy, but he would be brilliant. The stories he could bring to fan base, and having a fan base podcast network would automatically get people to come to the platform, because that's the only place you can do it. You've seen Spotify do this. You're seeing Netflix do this. You are seeing so many. Hell, Wondery's doing it. Yeah, Amazon's doing it. Right. Everybody's doing it. Success and failure both lead clues. It's up to you to decide which path you want to follow. And I think that that's what you do. Religion. Go get Jamal Bryant. Go get Japaz, as I like to call him, and give him a channel. Spiritually, go get some of those young podcasts. Go find yourself a waist beat wearing herbal tea sipping chick with locks, and put some bread behind her. Get all that conscious money. Go get Yaki awakened so he can talk about fruit and peace to the gods and peace to the earths. Like, you need all of that.
And it's all right there. That's the crazy part.
Right. Go get Surviving Vegan. Go get Sunny Speaks Vegan. Go get all of these folks that are trying to teach us to live holistically, to put right good things in our body. Go after the New York King of Comedy Talent and really build out a comedy channel on there. Go and get business experts. I know it ain't going to be me, but go get somebody other than Earn Your Leisure, somebody who's on their way up. Go get Pocket Watching with JT and get him on there talking about what you should do, because he's a certified financial planner. Go get Doc G out of Dallas, Texas. My man George, he's a certified public accountant. Go get Philosophy out of the DMV area, who's also a certified public accountant. Get these people who can teach us finances, and fan base would be an unstoppable powerhouse, and you'd be reporting a lot more than $40,000 in revenue. The other thing I would do immediately is start selling voting shares, because when you buy in and become an owner of fan base, what they don't tell you is that there are A shares and there are B shares. The only person who has A shares is pretty much Isaac Hayes, by and large, I'm sure, with very few exceptions. The B shares mean that, yeah, you have a piece of the company, but you don't have a vote. You're basically Washington, D.C. You can say whatever you want, but you have no voting power. You're Lady Eloise in Boomerang.
Marcus.
And I don't think he has any panties on, or maybe he does. I don't know. But that's what I would do. But he ain't going to take that advice. He's going to take this clip and be, hey, see, he sitting up there talking about me. He bashing me. You see that? Look at his hair. I can grow some. So that's what I would do as a business owner and as a business coach. That's exactly what I would tell him to do. And he would be swimming in money like Scrooge McDuck on DuckTales, just having a money bin, spitting out gold coins and fighting off the Beagle Boys. But he don't want to do that.
Dave, brother, you've been great. Only got about 2 to 3 more questions for you, brother.
Sure, I don't have a job. Take it.
Yes, sir, man. Tyler Perry, he's been going up in the news a lot recently from the Boondocks. I think about that skit all the time, but we've seen powerful black men fall recently, right? Sure. We've seen R. Kelly fall. Yes. We've seen Russell, Bill Cosby, Puff more recently, and it's all by this same playbook. It comes out with the essay. That starts to happen, allegations, the talks, and then from there you start seeing the court case filings, all of that. Tyler Perry, another young man, has come forth who said that, of course, he was acting, he was there, all of these things. And we're seeing one of the most prominent black filmmakers now facing this. Dave, how do you feel about seeing our black billionaires facing these same issues from having these same vices? I would say it's always 9 times out of 10 sexual. Dave Chappelle, he broke this down on his great special too. Why do you think black men keep falling for the same thing over and over? Sharon Moore as well, same thing. Coach at Michigan. Yeah. Right. Talk to me about that, Dave.
It's not, listen, I don't know any heterosexual, hot-blooded black male that does not like sex. Yeah. That's not the issue. It's who you're getting in bed with. And I'm not talking about whoever you tried to sleep with or did sleep with or smashed out or clapped up or laid down or I don't know what you do. It's the fact that you get in bed with the enemy. And if I have the power to feed you, I have the power to starve you. I have the power to take it all away. Mike Epps brilliantly broke down why black folks who are entertainers or are high value or are high powered individuals can't go flexing on white folks. You go flex on your Negro friends. You can't flex on us, because if you flex on us, we will thrash you. That is nothing new. It has always happened. KRS-One had a song when I was a kid called Out of Here. Do you ever think about when you're out of here? You know, you're going to have your time in the sun and you'll get replaced. And if you don't do what they want you to do, they will replace you. 15 years ago, did you ever think that people would turn on Nicki Minaj?
Yeah, man. She was the one back then. Yeah.
But they replaced her with Cardi B. You know, just ethnic enough Nicki. And that's not to say that Cardi does not identify as black, but she's acceptable. She has what my good friend, the late Paul Mooney, would say. She's got the protection, the complexion for the protection for the collection. Everybody want to be in it. Don't want to be in it. So between that and then her, and I've never known Nicki Minaj to not have conservative values, even though she made super bass. And yeah, I mean, I know plenty of conservatives, and they're all sexual beings. I don't see no issue with that. But when you don't get with the program that they have for you, they try to knock you down. You know, this is nothing new. And again, the coach in Michigan,
Sharon
Moore, his crime wasn't smashing somebody he worked with. His crime was he was smashing a white woman. That's how that goes, right? And again, even let's talk about Puff, right? Where was all this outrage when he was allegedly abusing Misa Hilton Brim? Oh, she's a black woman. Y'all don't care. When he was allegedly abusing Kim Porter. Oh, she's a black woman. Y'all don't care. But Cassie, complexion, protection, collection. And by the way, again, love is love. People find love in all types of places. I do find it telling that she fell in love with her personal trainer and then left. And then all of a sudden, somehow, this idea of suing for 30 mil or we go this way just pops up right after the whole Diageo thing happens. The same way, for example, David Geffen allegedly, supposedly on Earth 3 for entertainment purposes only. Nothing I'm talking about I don't know anything about at all. You should not listen to anything I'm saying right now because it's an absolute falsehood. But let's just say for hypothetical, David Geffen tried to seduce Michael Jackson in that same way, and Michael Jackson turned him down. Tommy Mottola was doing bad back end deals with Michael Jackson that Michael Jackson got hip to and was like, nah, this ain't cool. That's why that man's a devil. He's a racist. Blah, 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 blah. And when Michael died, Sony got his catalog. David Geffen, allegedly, depending on who you ask, summoned Oprah and Gayle onto a yacht or to his home, depending on which version of the story you know or have heard, and said, yeah, we're going to get Mike. I need you to go interview these folks. And now the folks, you know, for that Leaving Neverland documentary, some of them said that they were in this particular area where Mike allegedly did these horrible things to him. And the problem with that is the time and dates that Mike allegedly did these things. Mike was halfway across the country in that area. Neverland wasn't even built yet. The other part of that is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You can't divorce the fruit of a thing from the root of a thing. Had wiretaps on Mike. They had people in clandestine positions all throughout Mike's camp. And you know what they came up with? 500 plus pages of absolute nothingness because Mike was clean as a whistle. But that's not the narrative. Whenever you go against the palm-colored small hat people who are signing your checks, they will either make you look crazy, they will shame you, shun you, jail you, or unalive you. Till as old as time.
Dave, wow, brother. Instant classic already, man. Like, we already calling it. Dave, is it possible, man, to be both pro-American and also pro-Black as a foundational Black America?
This must be, Puff might need this money, so I'm gonna go ahead. Shout out to Mark Hurd who wrote this song. Bang, 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 bang. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. I am very pro-Black. I am very pro-America. I love America. I love America's promise. I love we the people of the United States in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, so on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I love this country. We are the best of the best of the best. Period. There's no other place I'd rather be than here. And I know this person went over here and this person went to Nigeria and this person's over in Tulum. Tashi, good for you. If you like it, I love it. I want some more of it, but I'm staying here. This is my homeland. I love my country. I will always love my country. You can't make me not love my country. You love your woman. Is there things your woman does to get on your nerves, Caleb? You sticking by her though, right? Okay then. That's it. That doesn't mean that she ain't got her problems. That's America. America got her problems. But we sure enough going to do everything to do that we got to fix them. I think you should be. To be pro-black is to be pro-America. Who was the first person to die in the Revolutionary War?
History class, Crispus Attucks.
Thank you. So we have to be careful how we move in this country. We have to make sure we take advantage of the advantages and disempower the negatives. And you can do that very simply. You want to fix education in the black community? Start showing up at school board meetings. Yeah. Start putting your foot on the neck of the superintendent of schools. Start finding out who's in charge of the teachers union and start holding them to account. We done talking. Like, the time for talk has been over. No. America is great because of blackness. The first export this country ever had was black American labor, foundational black American labor. The biggest export from that time to this has always been black talent. I don't care if you dress it up, give it to Teddy Riley and he gives it to the Koreans and call it K-pop. I don't care if you put some stupid mop wigs on 4 kids from Liverpool whose faces only a mother could love and call it the British invasion. It's all black. Everything we have done, from blood banks to ice cream to the traffic light. And I know a lot of these suspected white supremacists like to relegate us to peanut butter, but we've contributed a whole lot more to this country. Our blood is in this soil. So yeah, I'm going to fight for my homeland. I'm going to fight to make my homeland better. And if black people were honest with themselves, you got to start looking at the last 60 years and realize that Democrats have been playing in our face while platforming everybody else but us, because we don't write the check and we don't hold them to account. And whenever we say tangibles, Roland Martin pops out of his iPad and, puts his face out of his popcorn bucket and tells us that he don't need tangibles, but he got a tangible check from Kamala. And he is in bed with the rest of that boule Congressional Black Caucus that only likes the tethers for the most part and has not done anything significant since the 1970s for black people. And then when you have nothing better to do, if you think I'm just hating or trying to tear a black person down because they're in politics, do yourself a favor right now. Do me a favor, grab your phone, and I want you to look up the Congressional Black Caucus, and I want you to read what their mission statement says. And then I want you to go to what the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus mission statement says. Then I want you to go to the Congressional Latin American or the Congressional Hispanic Caucus and look at what their mission statement says. And look how different they are from the Congressional Black Caucus mission statement.
The mission of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation is to advance the global community by developing leaders and
Excuse me.
Wow.
Advance the who?
The global black community.
Is Dr. Umar writing for them? Is he their ghostwriter?
That's a diaspora.
What? Oh, okay. Keep going.
Wow.
Keep going.
All right, let's see, where were we?
Global black community.
Yeah, a global black community by developing leaders, informing policy, and educating the public. Achieved through leadership, development, scholarships, public health, financial empowerment, and research to empower black voices and drive equity and justice. The CF or the CBCF is a nonpartisan entity, supports historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs, and aims to uplift the next generation of black leaders in various fields.
Now, the funny thing is that's a rewrite, because before it was everybody, marginalized people of color. But go to the Congressional Hispanic Caucus and look at their mission statement and look how definitive it is. Take your time.
It's crazy, man. They said global community. Wow. We go to mission statement right
because they don't want black people to achieve. Because here's the thing. If black people achieve, if black people get something specifically for them and they are repaired in any way, then you open them up, maybe, possibly, allegedly on Earth too, not necessarily here for entertainment purposes only, to crimes against humanity. And they could be sanctioned by the United Nations.
Malcolm X vibes.
Oh.
The Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Dave. Wow, this is way more specific, family.
Come on.
Aims to advance Hispanic/Latino interests by serving as a legislative forum for Hispanic members of Congress, developing policy and ensuring fair representation.
I'm sorry, did you see anything about that saying global, or did it say Hispanic and Latinos as in Americans?
In their interests.
In their interest. Oh, okay, cool.
Wow.
Because it's funny how Auntie Maxine ain't helped nobody in Compton, but she had time to get on a private plane to come down and help Mexican illegals burn their flags and riot and protest against ICE. Ain't she in the Congressional Black Caucus?
That is a fact.
Oh, okay, cool. You know who's not in the Congressional Black Caucus?
Who?
Byron Donalds.
Wow.
Ain't he a congressman?
He is.
Oh, okay, cool. I know he's running for governor of Florida, but he's still a congressman right now. Ain't he black?
He's a Republican.
Oh, so why don't they just call it the Congressional Democratic Caucus? Or is that confusing? Because then you have the Democratic National Committee. It's too much Democrats. So, okay, cool. Yeah, listen, man. All of these folks are getting paid. Everything you need to know about black folks in the government, especially when it comes to the black Democrats in the government, you can learn from The Distinguished Gentleman. It's a movie by Eddie Murphy, and it's hard to find, but you can find it if you look hard enough. And in that movie, Lane Smith has this scene with Eddie Murphy, and he says, where are you on sugar? I don't know. Where should I be? Well, if you're for sugar, I got money from the sugar lobby and the high fructose corn syrup people. If you're against sugar, I got money from the parents group. Everybody's getting paid. Everybody's buying each other's books. Everybody's getting in the slush fund. Nancy Pelosi, statistically, is the greatest day trader since E.F. Hutton, but you jail Martha Stewart for insider trading? Okay. These are the same people who said that when Trump said, and this is not me defending the current president who was the former president, who was the president at the time, it's a China virus. It's a China virus. Nancy Pelosi went to downtown Chinatown so fast to get some dim sum and pose with them Chinese Americans, it made your head swim. And she called Donald Trump all kind of racist. But then, you know what happened? Do you remember the name of the lab that they made the China virus in?
Nah, what was the name of the lab?
It was the Wuhan COVID lab.
That's
Do you
right.
know it was located? It was in China. China. Is that racism or is that just good geography? When it was time to do something tangible for black people, didn't Nancy Pelosi and
Wakanda Forever?
No, it wasn't even the Wakanda Forever that got me. It was the Colin Kaepernick knee with the kente cloth, and Kamala, Kamala was on her knees. One knee this time, and also Clyburn, he got his hover around kneed ass on one knee in kente cloth, and they kneeled like really crypt keeper like Kaepernicks for nothing. But we got a Juneteenth from Biden. We got Juneteenth. We get no reparations, but we got Juneteenth. We got a hip hop barbecue in the Rose Garden, and we got a Juneteenth celebration with Billy Porter in a ball gown that was ill fitted. And Roland Martin has a problem with us wanting tangibles. Sure. Come on, man, y'all make that too easy. No wonder Roland want to have a conversation with me.
Dave, bro, major announcement we saw on your page, Hidden Color 6.
Yes.
Popping up, man, on there. That's a major thing, brother. My generation, I'm 29 now, but man, we got exposed to, consciousness, all of those things, new information, different information from them, right? So shout out to Tariq Nasheed, all of them, right? Dave, what does that mean, man, for you? Decades of work, all of that now being recognized everywhere to the point now that you will be on Hidden Color 6. How does that feel for you?
Who are the 5 greatest speakers in history?
Die line.
I spit out fire. You're too close. No, in all seriousness, I've known Tariq for well over 20 years at this point. I think it's God's perfect timing. I think everything that has been happening with me and what we've been doing with the Real Black Agenda, because it's not just me. Like, it's me, but there's me and it's my team, and it's everybody. I own a company called Zenith Media Labs. That's why a lot of my clips go viral. It's cool for me, and I'm gonna tell you what I love more than applause or recognition, things of that nature. Nobody's talking about my weight. Nobody's talking about very few people talk to me about radio anymore. Like, to put that in perspective, this is 2026. Ricky Smiley was 19 years ago.
Wow.
Do you have any idea how much stuff I've done since I put him in syndication? My career, depending on when you find me, most people don't know that I had a radio career, a music career, a stand-up career. I was a pro wrestler. Like, So to be in this conversation with notable, respected, foundational Black American scholars is humbling. But I don't believe my cheers and I don't believe my boos. I'm focused on doing the work for my people. But yeah, I'm excited about Hidden Color 6 because I talked about these deals. I talked about the industry. I talked about what it looks like. We talked about some history. Hidden Color 6. In my opinion, not because I'm in it, because I was there, Ant CEO was there, Black Alpha was there, 19 Keys is in this. There's a bunch of people who are like reflective of where we are as a people in dropping whatever their particular expertise is. This one is the best Hidden Color since Hidden Colors 1. Run. Do not walk to the theater. Run to the theater. I know there's going to be a premiere in LA. There's going to be one in Atlanta. I'll be hosting one in Philadelphia. And get it immediately. I'm only hoping that I can get a microphone check too, because there's a lot of stuff that people don't know about the history of hip hop, especially from the Philadelphia perspective. You know, Philadelphia is the birthplace of gangster rap.
Just got to know that.
Yeah, everybody.
What graffiti too, right? Cornbread.
Yeah, Cornbread.
He's from Philly, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, where do you think gangster rap initiated from?
I would think New York, of course, LA as well.
Yeah, so,
LA for sure.
Yeah, so a lot of people look at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
and
Ice-T. Yep.
Ice-T. Ice-T will tell you that's wrong. Ice-T will tell you he got his cadence from PSK is making this cream. People always say, what the hell does that mean? Schoolie D is from Philly. Schoolie D is the founder of gangster rap. Without Schoolie D, you don't have Ice Cube. You don't have Ice. You don't have no Ice. You probably would have had Vanilla Ice, but there's no NWA. Yeah. Cruising down the street in my 6'4". It's all the same cadence, and they all got that cadence from Schoolie D. So there's a history there. You know, when you talk about instrumentation, you know, in hip hop, who's bigger than the Roots? You know what I'm saying?
Jeez,
like when
talk about it, you're right.
When you really look at it, there's like when people talk Philly, they always start the conversation at Boys to Men. It's like no. We got a lot of hip hop in Philly. Beats.
Yeah, I was about to say
Freeway,
State Property. Yeah,
State Property. Chris and Neef.
Yeah,
Owen Spark. Come on, bro. Like even Jadakiss said, Philly has more rappers than any place on earth. We got more rappers. They be like, yo, Kiss, love what you do, and then he starts spitting. Like.
Y'all slept on, Dave. Hey, I didn't even think about it like that, but that's real.
Yeah, you know, so I'm excited. Hopefully we can do microphone check too, because I definitely want to talk about the Philadelphia impact on hip hop culture, man. I think that's a beautiful thing. And then also, not only that, you know, you got Lady B, who was the first, hip hop DJ, you know, and people don't give Lady B no credit. She's dope. And then, you know, the late great Angie Stone, she's not from Philly, but just the late great Angie Stone and everything that she was doing before she started really doing the R&B situation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think we don't have a full and totalitarian type of conversation about foundational Black Americans, hip hop, and how we have allowed everybody else to cash in and cash out while kicking us out of yet another house we built.
Sheesh. Dave Anderson, y'all. Dave, very last question for you, brother. The Real Black Agenda. What do you want readers to gain from this book, information-wise?
Information-wise, I want you to understand the things that nobody is telling you in your face, from the things that they're poisoning you with, how, you know, we got food deserts in densely populated Black neighborhoods. You can find a liquor store, a dispensary, a Black church, a strip club, a Planned Parenthood, but you're not going to find a Whole Foods in the hood, by and large, by most accounts. How the divide and conquer game that a lot of folks are liking to play out here is what's killing us. The strongest thing that you can have is a family. When you look at all the businesses that have been successful in your lifetime, they are all families first. I want them to have very uncomfortable conversations in barbershops and beauty salons, at their kitchen table, in their churches, at their games, when they just sitting around kicking it at the barbecue. And if you don't agree with something in the book, cool. Have those debates, have those conversations. You know, I'm going to every black bookstore that'll have me and doing signings and open conversations. I'm going to every HBCU that will allow me. I'm actually lecturing at Western Michigan University next month. This book, I didn't think was going to be what it became. I didn't try to write an instant classic. I looked and I didn't see anything that had everything that I knew what was happening. And I did a ton of research. I didn't just rely on how I felt. I didn't think it was going to take off like this. And I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm grateful to everybody who goes to therealblackagenda.com and orders the book. I sign everyone. I ship them out with these two hands. You know, yeah, you can get it on Amazon, but do you want Jeff Bezos getting my foundational Black American money? You don't find that suspicious? But yeah, man, I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Man, Dave, you already know, dog, man, for all of our viewers, man, Dave, bro, we've been chopping it up since I was a senior in college, man. So I appreciate
crazy.
you. I know time has flown, but
That's
Dave,
crazy.
I appreciate you, man, so much, dog. Y'all, he just touched down from the airport, pulled up here, man. First stop. Dave, on the way out, where can everybody follow you, stay in touch, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I want everybody to follow me on all social media platforms at The Business Bully, except for X. It's DA Business Bully because I couldn't get THE. But other than that, man, you can go to thebusinessbully.com. Please go to therealblackagenda.com. And if you want to see that Breakfast Club interview in its entirety, it wasn't a fair fight. It was 3-on-1 and their laptops, and they should have bought 5 more people in there. But you can go to thebusinessbully.com/breakfast club and watch it in its entirety for free, uncut, and you can figure out why it didn't.
Instant classic, y'all. The Real Black Agenda. Cop that, guys. Dave Anderson, my OG. Another classic. Instant classic. Thank y'all for always tuning in, showing love. Blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. Until next time, y'all. Peace.